Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law, and through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in this journey for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP. The focus is going to be on potential approval for S1 and prediction with regard to are we going to get additional comments or not. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be looking at the latest information with regard to short interest data. And further on in the video, we're going to be looking at positive updates for MULN, Mullen Automotive, and also Textile ABML, American Battery Metals. So stay tuned for that. Let's first of all have a look at what's happening in terms of the market. So bad news today here. We can see headline: US recession odds rise to 100% as inflation squeezes the economy. So I'm sure you're all aware inflation is a growing problem across the world right now. Well, let's have a look at the details of this headline, and we can see here the US is expected to tumble into a recession because obviously we have the Fed. The Fed are going to hike interest rates, and the reason for that is they want to try and control inflation. On top of that, we have the problem of Ukraine right now, which is causing increases in the price of energy and the cost of living. In terms of September, we're looking at an approved third consecutive 75 basis point rate hike, lifting the federal funds rate to a range of 3% to 3.25%, so near restrictive levels, and this indicates more supersized increases are coming. So the future isn't positive right now. And just additional breaking news on here I'd like to share with you with regard to Tesla. Tesla did beat on earnings overall, but it's come short on revenue, and I think the revenue was approximately 500 million, or I think 510 million short of what is expected, and I think the stock is down around about 2 to 3% in the post market. So there was good news with regard to Netflix, but Tesla, so far the market is not responding positively. So let's start by having a look at what happened just prior to close of market. We can see here it closed at $3.98, which was up in excess of 7.5%. So again, if we take into account all the pressure from the shorts, they were not able to drive this down. Many people did expect it to go nearer to the 3, so it has finished nearer to the 4, and at one point it was trading higher than 4. But what we can also see here, significant buy orders just before prior close to the close of the market of 5,000 shares, 1,000 shares, and before that 5 different orders for in excess of 1,000 shares. So again, a significant amount of loading up there. So let's have a look at the chart. So this chart is just before close of market, when it reached a high of $4.10, and if we have a look at prior to that, around about the 14th of October, we can see it has been fairly flat around about the $3.50 to $4 mark, when we previously had the highs in excess of $7. So certainly something looks to be happening now. They've not been able to drive this down closer to $3, which I think what they were expecting. So let's now have a look at the cost to borrow. So we can see here cost to borrow is now 34.3%. It was previously 23%. So what we're saying here is a record high cost to borrow. So when we say record high cost to borrow, that's just over the previous for this week. So I think we did have a higher cost to borrow previously, but for this week this is a record cost to borrow. So certainly going forward, I think it's getting very, very interesting. The next thing I'm going to share with you here is with regard to that data, and I'll shout out here to John Berda. He stated here, back down to 70,000 shares left to borrow. Don't understand their thesis. Although short and distort is nefarious and illegal, the shorts are clever, so I've never doubted that. They're also quite manipulative, and he's also gone on to say we will see how this plays out for them. The borrow rate means nothing at these levels. So obviously we are seeing it creeping up a little bit, and again, many people have said this is not significantly high enough yet, but it is creeping up. So now quick shout out here to Bradley Tate, who stated here, John, has your stockbroker called you about your intentions with regard to the shares? So this is a reference to the previous video where I made with regard to William and David, who are the two whale investors for MMTLP. They were called, so please refer back to the previous video for details of that. So let's have a look at what Bradley has continued to say. He says, about your potential sale price, why I ask, because the broker is responsible to close the short positions, which may be becoming very problematic. If no one sells at a price, there is going to be a big issue. So confirmation from John Berder, he's not been called by the brokers, other people have been called. But again, an excellent point here by Bradley. Eventually the brokers will have to stop the short selling. They will have to force the shorts to cover their positions, and obviously we will also have an end date. Let's now have a look at the short volumes. On the screen here you'll see the latest data that we have is for the 17th and 18th of October, and I think very shortly we should be able to get more recent data. But in terms of what we can see in terms of the percentage, we can see in terms of what on the data here, the short volume increased from 48.76% on the 14th to 67.28% on the 17th. So the attack now is in full flow. So we have seen over the previous 3 to 4 days quite a significant attack. The price has come down quite significantly, but as stated earlier, the shorts will be forced to close. There will be shorts forced to cover. But again, in response to one of the questions that I received here is, hi Ali, shout out here to Big Money Mike, who stated, hi Ali, correct me if I'm wrong, no big institutions go bankrupt from shorting any stock. So I certainly think it is quite rare. Obviously it may have happened, but in terms of, we go back in time to the situation with AMC and GME, and we know at that time the total loss for the hedge funds was approximately $12 billion. So if we take that into account, and many of them survived that, so if they survived losses of those amounts, then it makes you wonder and think how much they must be making by shorting companies and also potentially destroying companies as well. Finally, with regard to the S1, I think most of you are looking at this in terms of the big question right now: when are we going to get approval? So I'm going to share my opinion. In terms of my opinion, first thing I'd like to say is I do not think we're going to get additional comments. So there will not be, in my opinion, another request by the SEC for further comments. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sure people, certain market makers would like that to happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. The other prediction I'd like to make is, again, purely in my opinion, and I think we're going to get approval very, very soon, and it could be Friday post-market, it could be Monday. So let's stay tuned and see what happens for that. What I'd now like to do is provide an update for ticker symbol ABML, also known as American Battery Technology Company. So this is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel. However, we have seen a significant downtrend in the stock, but today there was an important reversal. So let's have a look at the chart. This chart is for the previous 5 days, and you'll see that generally prior to today there was a fairly long-term downtrend, trading just in excess of $50. However, what we can see here, a very significant reversal. At time of editing, it went up close to 40%, and I think it closed at around about 70 cents. So I think the news is positive. So let's first of all have a look at what happened. So I'm going to share a post here from the company, and what they've stated here is the US Department of Energy has announced a selection of American Battery Technology Company for a grant award to construct a $115 million first of kind commercial scale facility. So let's emphasize what the final few words there: commercial scale facility. So commercial is indicating revenue, it's indicating business, it's indicating obviously eventually profits as well. So this is an announcement here, we can say shared by the company, that was delivered by the President of the US, President Biden. So this was also shared by Ryan on his LinkedIn page, and he stated here, exciting announcement of the US Department of Energy that ABTC has been awarded a grant of $115 million. This is the first of its kind for a commercial scale facility to manufacture battery grade lithium hydroxide from Nevada based sedimentary resources a crucial step in ensuring the security of our domestic critical materials as we move towards our electrified closed loop future. So this is a company that obviously is in the early stages. It's a company that's a penny stock. It's trading on the OTC, but it's also a company that's got a huge potential long term and in the future, and we can see the signs of that here. And what I'd now like to do is have a look at the fact sheets from the US Department of Energy, and we can see here confirmation in terms of the project here and commercialization, large-scale demonstration of domestic manufacturing of low-cost and low environmental impact battery-grade lithium hydroxide from unconventional domestic sedimentary resources. So the applicant here that's awarded is American Battery Technology Company. Federal cost share is in excess of $57.7 million. So overall, excellent news here. And what I'd also like to share with you one more other piece of news here, and this is from a headline from Yahoo Finance. American Battery Technology announces completion of phase 2 lithium bearing exploration drilling program and initiation of SK 1300 inferred resources resource report. So that's good news. So obviously phase 2 drill program has been completed. So this is positive news. The company is now making positive progress. So hopefully I'm expecting by the end of the year for the site to open. Finally, I'd like to finish off by having a look at ticker symbol MULN, Mullen Automotive. So we're going to start by having a look at the chart for the previous 5 days. So what you will see prior to today, again similar with ABTC, is the stock was trading fairly flat and close to quite significant lows in recently, just trading above 20 cents. So there was some bad news, and what we can see in terms of what's happened today, a very significant reversal, huge green candles, big jump in the RSI, and what we can see is at one point the stock was up in excess of 80%, and it did breach 40 cents as well. So it's closed in excess of 57%, so a great close to the day, and it finished at a price of 34 cents. So what's happened? First of all, I'd like to share with you post here from Ortex, and we can see here Mullen at the time of this post surged by 60% after announcing that it will acquire assets from the bankrupt company Electric Last Mile Solutions, so ELMSQ, including a factory in Indiana. With regard to short interest, that's been trending lower and is now 51.85 million, which is 9% of the free float. So that's positive news, and it's also a sign that the company is looking at production and increasing production, also looking at expanding. The other news I'd like to share with you here, that is a catalyst for the future. This is from Investor Place, and what we can see here, headline just released shortly, another catalyst is right around the corner for Mullen stock, and what we can see is Mullen could deliver its first cargo vans next month. So we're talking about November. So this is good news, and in terms of numbers, we're potentially looking at the EV company stated that it could deliver 300 cargo vans to Delbach by November 30th. So stay tuned for that date, and obviously the stock is down, but once this news comes through, in terms of this confirmation and delivery of these vans, I also expect to see a significant reversal upwards again in terms of what's been happening recently. So potential good news here for Mullen Automotive. Finally, if you'd like to take part in live trading discussions and also get news of stocks such as Mullen Automotive and American Battery Metals live, and also take part in our challenge, you can certainly consider joining us in the Discord for little as $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.